Okay, so let me share my screen. So we reached the day 3. Okay, now before starting the session, uh, I would like to give you some information about a job fair which is happening in the Kuala Lumpur from October 14 to 16. Now, if anyone is looking for a job or a career change, there is a hack for job coding challenge has been happening in Kuala Lumpur from this next 14 to 16, and you need to register before October 7th. The link I'm posting on the chat. So if someone has been looking for a change, and if you're thinking like I need to switch my into a latest technology, or it's been uh, like a cloud engineer or a solution architect, or you're looking for some role in a scrum master or a infra engineer or a DevOps, there is a hackathon program has been happening, and I hope you can see my screen. So we are supporting this program. So in case if you're looking for any kind of the change, MetaLife hack for job coding challenge has been happening in Kuala Lumpur. Anyone can apply. Okay? It's not limited to Malaysia or Kuala Lumpur. Uh, Anyone from this batch, you can go and register for this one, and you can look for a career change. The link I have posted on the chat. So we want the people to uh, change, or it's want to go for a better career opportunities. That's the reason. So we together we are working with MetLife, and we are promoting this kind of events. So this event has been happening on the October 14th. So there you have a lot of options been available for a Scrum Master or a cloud infra engineer or a cloud engineer. And there is a registration link also it's been given on this one. So the top you can able to see there is a apply now. All level it's you can able to see. So have experience, or it's been a entry level or the mid level or the senior role. All kind of job role is been available. So you can explore this portal, and this will take you into the next level of your career. So this is one of the biggest event that's happening around the globe. So it's been working together with the Microsoft, and so even Microsoft also it's been promoting this one. So we request the members in this batch who is looking for a better opportunity, career opportunity, you can go for this one. This MetaLife is having almost 60 plus countries they have a presence, and there is a lot of job opening. It's been available on this portal. Even last day, I was also checking for some couple of options. I've seen like a lot of better career or the latest technology opening has been available here. So once you're getting a free time, I request you to go through this portal. Which one has been comfortable? You can and which one has been matching with your job role? You can try a chance. So this is the link, and the link once again I'm just posting on the chat window. So bookmark it, and go through all the option. And if you are try for this one, my current team, have you ever seen all level of the um, job opening has been available here? So you can just explore this portal. So because there's a lot of opening has been there. So right now I'm not in a position to give all this JD, or it's been like a job role. It's been currently listed on this one. So request you to go through and explore this portal. Clear? Okay. Now that's about the hackathon program. Now let's come back to our topic, which we were discussing on the last day. So last day we were discussing more on the portal management, right? Right now we understood it's been like how Microsoft has been using it's been for a cloud as a cloud solutions. So right. So last day we understood it's been like we have Microsoft Azure is the product available from Microsoft. With the help of that, we can able to provide solution to customers. We understood this has been providing public cloud, private, and hybrid mode we can able to use. Now we understood this Microsoft is having a data center across the globe. Now we always got a question: how will you connect to this portal? So basically, there are different management options are available for us. The most commonly used option is known as a Microsoft Azure Portal. So using a browser, you are connecting to a Microsoft Portal, and with the help of that, you can able to make an arrangement of this one. So you can able to go for the Azure Portal option. So with the help of that, you will be able to go for all kind of access management. And you have other options available. It's called Azure PowerShell. You have a CLI or a rest of a client. So we are discussing one by one also. So Azure Portal, yesterday we understood it's a web-based program. It's like using a browser. You are connecting to Microsoft Portal. So if you want to connect to this Microsoft Portal using Azure Portal or any of this management tool, you need to have an account. You need to have a subscription to be available. With the help of that, you will be able to connect to Microsoft Portal. So with the help of Azure Portal, you are able to do all kind of admin related activities, which is include like building a new resource or a decommissioning, or if you want to make any kind of a management or any kind of a activity or a configuration, all that XYZ activities can be performed with the help of a Azure Portal. So this is one of the most commonly used management option available on the Azure. So with the help of that, you are able to make all kind of portal management. So typically, this is a kind of a single unified console. With the help of that, you can able to manage all the source. You can able to manage services, and you are getting a lot of facility to connect with all the Microsoft documentation pages also. So which includes dashboard creation or accessing and using a cloud shell, or in case if you want to set any kind of alerts, and if you want to access to any kind of a documentation, all these activities generally is done with the help of a documentation page. So generally once you connect, you will be getting a portal like this. That's called a portal layout. And yesterday we are seeing it's been like there is a, with the help of the settings option, you can change the view or a appearance or a theme for your portal also. If you want, you can change it to black or a light blue, or if you want to change it to fly mode or a docked mode. There are different options are available on the portal. With the help of that, you will be able to make the changes on the portal. Clear? So this is the way it's been configured on the Microsoft side. Now, yesterday while we are connecting to the Microsoft portal, we came to know that it's the preferred mode of connection. Generally, we are using it's called private browser mode. It's like in case for a security reasons, if you want to uh, um, avoid saving your browser cache, or it's been like the form or any kind of information like a cookies, generally we are prefer to use for a private browser mode, or in case if you're using a Chrome kind of thing, generally this is known as incognito browser mode. So we have seen like how to take a browser mode, or it's we have seen like how to take that option also. Now this is the one way of management one. So once you connect, you will be getting. Now second way of management, it's been like you can use for a Azure PowerShell. You maybe heard about a tool called a Microsoft PowerShell, right? For automation purpose, you may be using this kind of a power tool. So generally, you will get a set of a commandlets. So with the help of that, you will be able to manage your Azure resources from your either from your laptop, or using the PowerShell itself, you will be able to manage. So by default, the PowerShell is been installed on all your computers, right? So in case if you take your laptop and you go to a search bar, and if you type Windows PowerShell, you will be prompted already into a PowerShell option, right? So generally, if you are taking like by default your laptop, you may be having the PowerShell is been by default it's been installed, right? So you go to a open your search bar on your laptop, you may be having this PowerShell option is been available. In case if it is not available, you can able to download the Windows PowerShell from this portal. The portal link I have pasted on this chat window. So in case if you're thinking like instead of a browser, I'm a automation engineer, or I'm a DevOps engineer, or I'm comfortable in the command kind of operation, you can use for this a PowerShell option. So all the connection, all the management generally we are doing with the help of a PowerShell option. Now, in case if you want to sign in with a PowerShell, this is the document you can refer. I just pasted uh, the chat options on the PowerShell sign in method. I've pasted on the chat. Now, how this has been authenticated. What is the command generally you need to use it right now if you are selecting here. Now, when you collected or when you use the Microsoft Azure PowerShell option, right now you can able to see. This is a set of commands generally we are using. Like in case if you are connected, you need to use this kind of a command. You need to use this kind of a commands. Once it is uh, typed, right now the command is not working here. That's the reason it's getting error message because I need to install a Microsoft Azure command let's here. That's the reason it's not working here. So this is the set of commands you can use it on your computer. So like you can able to see like a connect Azure connect. This is the one command generally we are using for connecting to Microsoft Portal, right? In case if you're typing this command on the your PowerShell, generally we'll get a screen like this. So when you type this one, this will prompt you into a screen like this. So there you can able to connect it. And once you connect this one, you will be prompting to the PowerShell window. So where you need to type all Microsoft PowerShell commands, you need to type it. So typically in case if you're using for PowerShell as an option, or it's been like management, or it's for you want to use it for automation, you can go for a PowerShell one. So this in case if you want to download, this is from a GitHub. This is the link available. I pasted that link also on the chat from the GitHub also. If you want, if you're thinking like you want to download a PowerShell, you can able to download it from here. Typically, if you want to use Microsoft PowerShell, uh, minimum you need a 5.1. That is the minimum version it's been recommending, and your system also need a PowerShell .NET framework. Not additional to a PowerShell, your system also need to have a .NET framework to be available on the system. So with the help of that, because we need to ensure that the laptop also it's been supporting with the .NET framework also. Because in case if it is .NET is been not supported, generally you will be getting a some kind of a message saying that, hey Robin, there is a .NET is been not available on your system, and because of that I'm not able to run this one. So in case if you want to go for any kind of a PowerShell option, .NET also to be available on your laptop, and then you can go for PowerShell kind of a management. Once you connected this one, you will getting a screen like this. Once you connect, login Azure Connect, it will take it a prompt like this. Now once it is given, instead of GUI mode, you will be getting a screen like this. So you will have a screen like this where you can able to manage all your resource using a command kind of program. So typically this is a cross-platform solution. This can be used in a Mac, or it can able to use in a Linux, or it can in a Windows also. The only problem you need to remember, it's like if you want, in case if you want to use this one, you need to install that. You have installed all the Microsoft Azure commandlets on the Azure one. So there's a one point you need to remember. Now, this basically in a production scenarios, like if you come to a Azure side, basically this has been using like wherever your automation possibilities you have, like in your office, you want to automate a couple of repeated tasks. That kind of a situation, generally we are going for automation, or or you will be using the PowerShell, because most of the time, like where you want to go for any kind of automations or possibilities, if you want to explore that kind of a situation, generally we are using for a PowerShell option. Now, if you're comfortable with the CLI, because quite long time you may be using a Windows command prompt, right? And then normally in your command prompt, you may be using, right? In case if you're thinking like you are comfortable with a command like option, like a Windows command prompt, right? Because generally if you're taking a laptop, you used to type a CMD, and we used to type this kind of a command prompt, right? So in case if you're comfortable in a command prompt, you can use a command prompt also for managing your PowerShell. But the only um, point you need to remember, like in case if you want to use a command prompt, by default these commandlets are not available here, so you need to install it using a MSI tool. So you need to install this one. So in case if you want to use it Microsoft CLI mode, you need to download this MSI file. So MSI file download link have pasted on the chat window. So from there you need to download this MSI file on your laptop or in your the system where the device where you're using this one. So also this is the CLI file it's been available. You need to run this MSI file. You can able to see this MSI has been available. So once you run this CLI file, even your Microsoft command prompt, whatever command prompt available, the black screen which has been available on your laptop, using that you can able to manage this one. So I I prefer you to go for a Azure Portal layout first because you are new to this Azure environment. So in case if you are going for a PowerShell or a CLI, there is a chance of making a mistake also. So better once your concept is been clear and if you are familiar with all the resource, then you can switch your management option into either into PowerShell or a CLI one. But in the latest on the initial stage, like the starting or the learning stage, I prefer you to go for the portal layout. So I don't want you to go and make mistakes on your productions environment or in the production infrastructure. So because GUI mode, you're getting all kind of alert or a notification. At least you will come to know either something wrong is happening or this is the activity is happening on the back end. So I prefer you to go for the portal layout mode in the at least for the initial period. The other for the management option. So you can use any of this method. Either you can go for a PowerShell or you can able to go for a CLI option also. Now this is available on all the versions. Like it's been available. This can be used in Mac or Windows or it's been any of this operating system you can able to use. And the current version of the CLI right now it's been available is 2.32. So the link I already pasted on the chat window. Now in case if you're good in the shell, like this is the shell option also you can able to use. Now if in case if you're good in the shell option, right, I'm just taking this link. Now if you're good in the shell option or it's like you are in good in the command prompt, you can able to use the command wise option also here. Let me type it here. I'm just typing the username and password. Give me a second. It's asking for an OTP, so we need to wait. Give me a second. It's asking for a OTP, so I'm just waiting for the OTP to get. In case if you're using a cloud shell, once you given the username and password, your prompt will be, or the Azure portal layout will be like this. So you will not see any kind of a resource or a resource panel kind of option. All window will be moved to in a kind of command kind of a prompt kind of a window. Right now you can able to see this is right now it's been creating a space for storing all the logs and commands. So right now you can able to see it's been created. There is a storage account that's been created. Right now you can able to see this has been connected to Microsoft Azure. Right now if you are not using this Microsoft portal, you're not seeing any other option, right? Yesterday you are seeing there is a lot of other portal layout option was available, right? Right now if you are seeing here, so if you are connecting to normal mode, in a normal mode we are getting a lot of options here, right? You can able to see there is a GUI mode kind of option, right? If you are going here, let me change the appearance to drop mode. you are seeing a resource panel and you are getting a lot of flexible options here. But when you're connecting to a PowerShell or a shell, this is the screen you are getting. So all your management you need to do with the help of a command lines. Now the same option you can able to see on the Azure layout also. The left side near to a search bar, you can able to see there is a book and pen symbol you are able to see, right? On the top right top, you may be seeing like there is a option you are able to see here. If you're clicking here, in the bottom, you are getting a window is open, right? There is a one new window has been opened here. There you can able to see two options here. One is called a PowerShell and another one is called a Bash also. Now, if you want to make any kind of a automation, or if you're feeling like I'm good in a command kind of operations, then you can go for this option, Cloud Shell. Now in the Cloud Shell, you are getting a two options. One is called a PowerShell and another one is a Bash also. So if you're good in a PowerShell, you can work in this mode. You can type all your commands and you can able to do all this one. So right now I'm using my friend ID here. That the reason his name is me listed here. So because my ID is yesterday or seen, it's been got disabled. So that the reason we are requested another ID from my friend and we are using this one. So right now you can able to see there is another option also you can able to see, it's called Bash option. If you are good in the Bash or a Linux command, we can able to go for this option. Like using a Bash option, you are able to uh, make all the Linux commands, or if you're familiar with or if you're coming from a Linux background, you can go for this option. Now that's about the Bash or this shell options. So you can use based on your comfortness. You can able to go for any of these option, either if you're good in or if you're so if you're comfortable in any of these options, you can go for a Azure CLI or you can able to go for a shell also. Now if you want to use this Azure management using a mobile, uh, mobile options, you can download it from your Android or iOS. There is Azure mobile app is been available. So this mobile app will give you access to all the subscription and all resource management. You can able to do it using a mobile. Like you can able to start your VM, or if you want to make any kind of restarting a VM, or if you want to monitor any kind of a critical alert or a health issues, or if you want to run any kind of a set of a commands or a script when you're traveling, or if you're not in front of the system, then you can use this mobile app. uh, so typically all resource can be managed from your phone. So this app can be downloaded using your uh, Android or a iOS platform. So you can able to do this one. So these are the few commonly used activities, like Azure management or a connecting. But generally most of the times Azure admins used to use this Azure mobile app only for a monitoring kind of purpose only, because generally people won't use this mobile app for kind of any critical management, because uh, in case if you're making any mistake, that will make all kind of a critical outage in the system. So this is the way typically we are doing all kind of a management, and we have a lot of SDK file also it's available. So in case if you're from a software background and if you're thinking like you want to make any kind of a framework or any kind of a modification, then you can go for this one. Now I got another question. PowerShell can be open if you do subscription. Kishan, either if you're using a CLI or a PowerShell or any of this management tool, it's mandatory that you need to have an account and you need to have a subscription also. This is like it's a management purpose only. Backend, whether you use it a PowerShell or whether you use it SDK or a API or it's been a portal layout, billing has to be done in the backend. So basically, you need to have a subscription to be available. So without that, you will not be able to use any of these things. Yes, when you're using a week 365, there is an account also it's been created. That's by default, there will be account will be created. So this is about the portal management. Now I'm pausing here for taking a question from all of you. So in case if you have any question or any doubt related to the portal management, we can have a discussion or a debate. If you're good, I request you to confirm that feedback also on the chat window. So you can able to use this. Yes. So good. So this we got a first answer. It's been good. Thank you. So we got first feedback. Waiting the rest of the members also to comment your feedback and the opinion. Okay. So we got few comments. So waiting the rest of the members also to help us to. Okay. So because we need to ensure that we all are on the same page. So thank you, team, and most of the members it's been commented on the chat. Now let's move to the next option. Is like a portal management. Right now we have seen how this has been connected, right? Abdul has been asking, is there any boot camp like this for SC100? Yeah, Abdul, we are planning a couple of program on SC series. Uh, you can follow the Discord link. Announcement will be done very soon. So right now the announcement we are about to announce, it's been about the AZ900. There's one program it's been planned that's called hybrid computing, and we have networking, and we are planning a couple of SC series also. It's been this one. So keep follow us on the Discord link that's already we are shared on the chat. So because you'll be getting all kind of notifications or advanced program events, so that so you won't be missing any such kind of uh, events. Now let's go back to this Microsoft portal. Right now we have seen like once you given a username and password, you've been prompt or you'll be connected to this kind of a window that generally known as Azure Portal layout, where you can able to see all the resource or all options you are able to see. Now in the left side, generally when you took your Azure Portal layout in the dock mode, you may be seeing like a left side, there is a couple of options you are seeing, right? You may be notice like there is something called a create a resource or a home or a dashboard or a old resource or app service or a, Cosmo DB or a lot this lot of option or a service name you may be noticed. So that panel or that area generally known as resource panel. That is called a resource panel. So why this is called a resource panel? Because we understood any manageable resource on a Microsoft technical term we are using, it's called resource, right? Because Azure may be using or it's been going to deal with any many services, right? Like we can able to create virtual machine, we can able to create storage account, we can able to create VNet, we can able to create firewall, we can able to create public IP address, we can able to create databases, right? All these services generally known as resource. That general term we are using in Azure is called resource. That's the reason this panel is known as resource panel. So whatever service, whatever resource available, or if you want to prompt to a particular resource, that you can able to select it from the resource panel. So left side, if you're connecting, once you're connected to Microsoft Portal, right now, if you connected to Microsoft Portal, in the left side, where is our portal window? You are able to see right now, you can able to see in the left side, you are getting a lot of options, right? You can able to see it's called resource panel. Left side, you are able to see a couple of options are available here. Now, the first option you can able to see here, it's called all services. The moment you type all services, this will list all the services Microsoft Azure has been supporting. The services Microsoft has been tested and it's been Microsoft is given to clients or a users for a use, all you can able to list down here. Now, this has been Microsoft has been beautifully organized. You can able to see in a category mode. You can able to see here right now. You can able to see compute. You can able to see all the compute services available. If you're clicking networking, you can able to go for networking one. If you're selecting a storage, you can able to see all the storage. Now, if you want to create anything, you need to just click on it. So it will automatically take you to another window where you can able to create it. So all service will be typically list on all the service Microsoft has been supporting. And if you want to do any kind of a filtering, in the top there you can able to see there's a filter service box also it's been available. Now, if you want to search it something, you can able to search, type it here. Like in each service, if you want to type it, you can just type it like a virtual machine. So it will list out everything. Now, I was diverted from the resource panel. Now we understood Microsoft Azure has been supporting 100 plus services. All 100 plus services are right now, it's been not listed here because by default commonly used services only listed here. Now, if you're thinking like you are a engineer or you are a person dealing with some couple of services and you are thinking like I want this service to be available here rather than every time it's going to old service and selecting this one. If you're thinking like this service to be available here, then you can add this as a favorites here. This is whatever options or whatever resource right now it's been listed in the left side. This has been selected as a favorites. Now if you are a person, you managing some particular service and you want the particular service to be available in this panel, you can able to add with the help of an option called favorites. How favorites it will add? You can go to all services and whatever service daily you're managing, select that, just keep your mouse near to that service. Then this right side, it will be opening a window, right? Right now you can able to see, I clicked on a firewall and you are able to see that firewall description and some documentation page and create or a view, some information has been coming. And you maybe notice right side of a firewall or that service, there is a star symbol also been showing, right? So if you're clicking here, this will be added as a favorite item in the resource panel. Now, if you scroll down, you may be able to see this firewall has been added here. You can able to see in the bottom, now the firewall has been added. Now, if you want to remove, you need to just uncheck this star mark. Now, similar way, based on whatever service you are dealing, instead of every time go to all services or you the top, you can able to see there is one search bar also. If you want to search any service, you need to type it here. So this will display all the service available and all documentation, all reference material available that particular documentation or for that service will be listed here. So in the search bar, if you are typing, it will give you a consolidated summary or a consolidated resource operation, resource information for that service. So that's the way it's been working. Any question? So this is the way resource is been added to resource panel. It's called in the resource panel. Now the search bar is the tool where you can able to search the resources. Further, you can able to search any service or a documentation. You can able to search it from the search bar option. Now that's about the all services option. Now if you select the another option called all resources, right now you can able to see there is a green color option you are able to see, that's called all resources. Before that, I got another question. Firewall has been applicable to each VNet or in this one that you can able to configure in a VNet level also. Keep. Generally, we are following a hub and spoke method in a Azure side rather than going for a point to point. So generally, hub and spoke method is generally using in a Azure side. There is a typical implementation strategy generally we are using on the network security side. Now let's come back to here. Now you're able to see one more option called all resources. So if you're selecting this all resource, this will display or this will show you all the resources it's been configured on your account. Right now, these are the resources. Right now, it's been created here. Now, if you want to filter it in a different level, either if you want to filter in the subscription level or in the resource group level or in the additional filter, if you want to set anything, you can able to select it from here, either by the location phase if you want to do any kind of a filtering. All this action can be uh, performed in the old resource level. So old resource typically it will show or kind of the resources currently it's been supported or it's been available on that account. So that's about the old resource panel option. Now, if you come to this top, there you can able to see there is a bell icon also you can able to see, right? Right side top, you maybe notice there is a bell icon it's been coming. So this is a notification area. So this will give you all events which has been happening on your system, whether if you're creating a resource or when if you're creating or deleting any kind of resource, all this information will be notified here. So as a user, if you want to, as a cloud administrator, if you want to know what is the status has been happening on the system, all that information you will be able to see it from the notification area. Let me create a VM and I'll show you how this has been working. Now I'm just trying to create a VM here. I'm just giving like a test VM. Okay, now Ubuntu or whatever. So just given right now and create. You can look into this notification area on the bell icon. You can see what is what's happening on the notification area. Right now, I just tried for create a. Right now, I tried for creating a VM. The moment I even create, right now you can able to see in the notification area there is some pop-up came right saying that there is an action is been started and you are getting some summary about that also. You can able to see this notification or it's been keep on changing based on the action is been performed on the backend. You can able to see what is action it's been happening. You can able to see, so you can able to see there's a deployment started and couple of action is been performed. You can able to see it's been created. So this is the way um, notification tab it's been working. So like this all kind of a log or event which has been created or it's been um, happening on the system, you will be able to see it from the notification area. So this is the two option you can able to use it. Now right now you can able to see another option called dashboard. Dashboard is typically is using like uh, I'm just taking a mobile. In a mobile, like in a home screen, when you purchase a new mobile, generally when you're configuring this one, we used to put some kind of a shortcut on your home screen, right? Either the WhatsApp or Gmail or a Facebook, that applications which commonly you're used, we used to put in a home screen, right? Similar way, here also based on your job role, if you want, you can able to set some kind of dashboard. For example, like I'm a working a help desk, so I can create some kind of a home shortcuts here. For example, like I'm a person who manage users and group, and I check user sign in summary, and I'm a person who do some help and support page. I can create this kind of a shortcut and I can save it. So what is the advantage I'm getting here? I don't need to go to search bar, or I don't need to go to a all services and select this service. Once you created this kind of a shortcut, I need to just click on it. I'll be getting this one, right? I'll be getting this kind of screen or the service directly I'm going. So I don't need to go behind all services or all resource or a search bar. I don't need to go behind this one. I can create this kind of a dashboard. And in case if you have a multiple engineers or a multiple resources working on similar kind of a profile, you have an option to share it also. In case if you want to share it, or if you want to download or export, you have an option for doing that also. So generally it's been a JSON file. You'd be uh, uh, this file will be saved. Like in case if you download this one, you can able to see there is a JSON file it's been created. You maybe heard about like a JSON is a it's been Java a script object narration is been the file in extension is generally using. So all this file it's been available on JSON. So this can be used for making kind of any automation kind of activities also. So that's about the dashboard. Now resource panel we are clear. Now you have another option. It's been available on the portal that's called Azure Marketplace. So in case if you're selecting here in the search bar, you can able to see some option called Marketplace. Right now you can able to see there is a shopping kind of a symbol you can able to see, right? If you are able to see here, there is a bag kind of a symbol. This is something like you're going for a shopping, because in your place or in your country or in your near to your home, you may be having some kind of a shopping mall will be available, right? If you go to a shopping mall or a kind of a centers, you can able to see there is a different branded shop may be available, right? You may be having Louis Philippe, Van Heusen, Arrow, or it's been like a Peter England, or you have a Nike or Adidas, or there are different brand you may be able to see, right? Brand showroom you can able to see, right? Similar way here also, marketplace is kind of a supermarket inside your Azure, where you can able to see right now. If you select a marketplace, my system got hang, just give me a second. Marketplace, if you're selecting, you can able to see 8,000 plus products it's been showing here. 8,000 plus products, which include Microsoft products, which include a startup products, which include a third party product. Any products which has been tested and can be used inside Azure. Almost 8,000 plus resource or a service or softwares it's been showing here. Few people may be thinking like Microsoft is a Azure is a product from a Microsoft, and this has been supporting only Microsoft products. No, it's been supporting Unix also. Now, if you have a user, someone is been looking for a Red Hat Linux, you have a Linux option has been available. So you have a old Linux operating system. It's been available here. So based on the customer requirement, you can go for a Red Hat 6 or a 7 or a 8 or whatever you want, you can able to select. And different flavors of a Unix you can able to see here. Now, if you're thinking like you need to go for some third-party firewall, you can type it here. You have a Sophos, or if you want to FortiGate, or if you want to integrate different vendor firewall, you have an option is here. You can able to see all the products it's been available. So this marketplace is some kind of a supermarket where you can able to select operating system, where you can able to select all the softwares which has been supported and tested on the Microsoft Azure. All this information you can able to select it from here. Now, if you want to go by category wise, you can able to see in the left side in the middle, you can able to see there is a categories way it's been organized also. In the marketplace is been organized in a category wise. So end of this session, you need to understand marketplace is a kind of uh, uh, service, or it's been a kind of a repository where you can able to, or the users can able to connect to Microsoft partners, or you can able to download independent softwares or other startup products that you can able to select it from the Microsoft marketplace. So where you can able to provision different application or different software products also you can able to use. So this is a kind of a supermarket. Cloud Shell already we have seen how this has been working. It's basically if you're comfortable with the PowerShell or a Bash, then you can go for the shell option. Then directory and subscription already we have discussed. Notification it's already we have seen where you can able to see all kind of events, or it's been all kind of activities which you are performing on the portal, you will be able to see here. And settings already we have covered yesterday. And help and support, yesterday we have discussed about different support plans. With the help of that you are able to select the support from the Microsoft, what type of the support or the technical support you need from a Microsoft, you can able to select it from the support plan. And the feedback panel also we have seen. Now in the profile settings, if you are able to see the right side top, if you're seeing here, there is a three dot symbol. If you can able to see here, if you're selecting this three dot symbol, you may be able to see like a permissions or a bill area and some information you can able to see. That's basically using for the cost management part. Now I'll get into, before moving to that, let me take into another topic called Microsoft Advisor. So Microsoft Advisor is been generally using. Right now we are implementing a lot of services on the Microsoft portal, right? So Microsoft is giving a free service to you that's called Advisor. Maybe in the left side of your resource panel, you may be able to see an option called Advisors, right? Right now, if you're selecting a resource panel, in the resource panel left side, you may be seeing there's an option called Advisor. If you're selecting this Advisor, Microsoft giving a free services to users on a different aspects. You can able to see in the 5 areas generally Microsoft is giving an advice. It's in a cost wise, security wise, reliability, operation excellence, and performance. Now, if you are selected to overview, based on all your subscription right now, you may be implemented n number of resources on the Microsoft portal. Now, using a advisor option, Microsoft will give you some kind of advice to you. Hey, Robin, you have installed this service, and we analyze your account, and for you found there is some recommendation for this. Right now, you can able to see there is a one network card is being configured. You need to use a NAT gateway. So this kind of advice Microsoft will give in a uh, free of cost. You don't need to pay anything for that. Basically, this will give you advice on a cost, security, reliability, and operational excellence. If you want, you can download it in a PDF format, and if you want, you can download into a CSV format also. In case if you are downloading this one, in case if you want to present this advice into a leadership, you can able to download this PDF form, and you can give to your solution engineering team, or you can submit to your leadership team saying that, hey, these are the some recommendation for your account, and this has been impacting a business for a medium or a high or a low priority, and this kind of details you can able to see, and with what is the subscription is been using, and what is the recommendation from Microsoft also. So it's typically Microsoft is giving a free of advice. Generally right now you can able to see on the screen, this is for my account. There is a Microsoft is given some recommendation for a security. Microsoft is given 22 recommendation for me, and for the cost management I got a 4 recommendation. So this is a free service. Typically this has been on the 5 areas or the 5 uh, critical area Microsoft is generally giving this one. Now this is a free service built into Azure, and as I mentioned, it's like they are giving a recommendations on a high availability, security, performance, and operation excellence, and cost part generally they are giving. So, and this can be downloaded in a CSV or in a PDF format also. Dashboard already we have seen. It's been like in case if you want to use any kind of a shortcut or any uh, kind of a shortcut on your home screen, then you can go for a dashboard options. Now, supported devices. Now, if you want to use a Microsoft Azure, this has been supported on all the latest browsers, and it's been supported on the all the latest mobile desktop also. So you can able to use it on all the latest browsers or all the latest device also. The only one point you need to remember, in case if you're using the latest browser, make sure that your JavaScript is been enabled on your browser. In case if the Java is been not enabled on your browser, you may be facing some kind of a connectivity issues. Now all these browsers are supported Microsoft connectivity, because most of the time if you're using Azure portal layout, or the Azure Portal, you may be using browsers for connecting this one. So if you're using this one, you can use Microsoft Edge or a Safari or a Chrome or a Firefox kind of a browsers for connecting this one. And a supported plan, yesterday we have discussed, it's basically basic is the by default plan it's been available, and in case if you are looking for additional technical support or additional support from a Microsoft, you have a flexibility to migrate or upgrade into a latest version like a developer or a standard or a professional direct. So any of this option, you will be able to select it from the Microsoft support plan. So free account already we have seen, it's by default you are getting only the access to the documentation, or you are getting only the uh, access to the community support only. Generally you are getting a support. Now these are the different community options you are available, like you have knowledge center has been available, Q&A option has been available, Azure feedback forums are available, and Microsoft details also has been available. So this is the way generally the community support generally we are getting on the Microsoft side. So now subscription we have already seen by default, when you create a free account, generally we are getting only 30 days of validity. Now in case if you want to go for any of pay as you go model, you need to go for a upgradation of your account. So that's what we need to see for how to upgrade your account. So that's about connectivity part. Now next one is been about the budgeting part. By default, we have seen it's been like it's kind of a operational excellence mode, it's been working like it's been opex mode, it's been working. So as a user or as a cloud administrator or from an organization point, if you want to do any kind of a cost management, if you want to find out what is the cost currently it's been incurred, or it's been you want to forecast what is the cost is been coming. So if you want to set this kind of option, generally this has been done with the help of an option called cost management. In a Azure portal, there is a service has been available that's called cost management and billing. Right now, if you are selecting this option, you can able to see what is the current cost is been available. You can able to see each subscription, what is the cost currently it's been charged. And right now you can able to see there is a 29 rupees is being charged for my BM, and currently whatever resource currently it's using. Now, if you're selecting a cost management, you have an option to set couple of options here. Like if you want to do some kind of a budgeting, for example, like I want to set some kind of a budget for a particular department. I can able to set it here. I'm saying like I'm setting a budget, because for example, like you are using a free account, right? So you want to set some kind of a budgeting for your free account, because I don't want to misuse your billing. So you can able to set, it's a tracker for I'm saying like from the September month, from 10th onwards. Okay, expiry date I'm saying like a 19th. Amount I'm putting some kind of a threshold. If the amount is been going more than 10,000 rupees, set, I can able to set some kind of actions here. Do I need to go for actual cost, or it's been forecasted cost? If the my budget is reached the 50 percentage of 1,000 rupees, my budget, send me an email to me, robin@gmail.com, sending that your budget has been uh, using, and you can able to set your language, what in which language you want to set. So you'll be able to send, you'll be getting some kind of a notification, hey Robin, your so and so subscription, your budget is going to exceed. So similar way, when you're coming on operation point of view, you can able to do this kind of a cost management. You can able to set some kind of a budgeting, and you can able to set some kind of a filtering, or you will be able to do some kind of a notifications also. And in case if you want to download your invoice, or uh, for example like invoice, if you want to download, you will be able to download it here. Like each um, like you have option to download your invoice, how much amount it's been used, what is the amount it's been paid for a tax. In case if you want to download this, and if you want to give it to your finance department, you have an option for downloading also. So it will give you a invoice also, like the cost for it's been charged for your account. That invoice or the budgeting can be able to done with the help of the cost management option. Right now I'm trying to download the PDF document for this account, so I'm not sure what is the charge is this person is being used, because Right now, I'm not. It's been loading. It will take 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah. Right now, you can able to see. You'll be able to get all the invoice charge here. So all the how much it's been used. You can able to see virtual machine is being used for Japan. I think he's used. My friend has been used a couple of service in Japan and East US. So and this is the charge. This much time it's been used. This is the charge it's been given. So this kind of a beautiful, or it's been like a detailed invoice will get in case if you want to submit your finance department, you can able to use this one. So all these options generally done with the help of a cost management and billing option. So in case if you want to add your payment option, like if you want to set some kind of your credit card or options, if you want to select it, we can able to select it from that. So you can able to select it as option from that. So so this is the all the cost related option or all the budget related option. It's been configured in the cost management one. Now this is the second lab for you. This is a second uh, lab for you. I'm just pasting the second lab for to complete. Pasting on the lab questions. Let me, yeah, this is the second lab for you, lab 2. This is the assignment, like when you go back to your home or it's been like office, try to complete this lab also. Create a budget, and I given one scenario also on the chat window. So you can able to go for doing this lab also today. Now, before moving to this one, budgeting we are done. And yeah, now this is the first in training assessment for you. You can post your answer on the chat window. So this is the first question for you today. I request everyone to confirm through the chat option. You can post your answer on the chat window. Sorry, I moved this slide. Sorry for that. So answer for this question. Few people has been commented, and waiting the rest of the members also to comment it on the chat window. Okay, so answer for this question, it's been like JSON. It's been the file. It's been showing. So the answer for this question is JSON. So thank you, team. I think most of the members has been posted the right answer. So JSON is the file it's been using. Let's move to the next question. This question is being related to Microsoft Azure Advisor. So you can post your answer on the chat window. This is a kind of a self-evaluation, and you yourself are validating your knowledge here. So it's not me or it's the team here, because you spend last 1 hour. So just analyze yourself how much you learned and how much you're comfortable with this topic. So that evaluation you're doing. So I request you to uh, do yourself. So this is the knowledge check for you. So if you are able to answer, that means last 1 hour topic we have covered. It's been comfortable with you and it's been not you also. So do yourself. And I can see there are a few people is still it's been pending. Yeah, I can see this answers are coming. Good, good. And I think I can say there's another 10 to 20 members is not commented anything. So I request everyone members to just comment it. So thank you, team. So thank you for participating this exercise. There's a self-evaluation round. Okay. So the answer for this one it's been best practices. So answer B is the right answer for this. So thank you, team. Now let's move to the next one. So next question is about the cloud shell. So answer for this one, it's a interactive window only. It's a browser based one. So answer for this one is answer A. So it's been interactive browser accessible window only. Now this is the last question for you. Sorry, second last question for you. What is the command we are using? Like in case if you are using a PowerShell, uh, so which command we need to use it? So answer for this one is when the connect AZ connect is the command generally given. Now this topic we are not covered, so we can just leave these two questions. Now, any question from anyone? So, team, any question like any topic which we are so far it's been covered? If you have any question, let us know. If you're comfortable or what are topics we are covered, you can, if it is good and clear, comment it on the chat window. Then we can move to the next part of this event. Rahman, it's been once you created a free account, 30 days is the normal period. After 30 days, you need to upgrade your account into pay as you go model. So by default, 30 days. Aji is saying like not able to sign up for an Azure portal. What is the error message Aji you are getting? Ajay, can you tell me what is the port, what is the um, error message you are getting? Credit card is required. Maybe if you're connected from India, can you connect with try with your debit card? Now, Prabal is asking like, what are the port generally using? Prabal, basically it's been using 443 because it's been connecting through HTTPS, so it's be using a 443, and it may be using a port number 445 also because SMB also it's been using. So it's been using 443, 445, and SPC host, and also it's been using. So balance all port based on the NSG rule you need to define, like a 3389 or a 5895. All the additional port you need to define using a NSG rule. By default, port is been allowed. It's a 443 for your HTTPS and 445 for your SMB also. Now, other roles you may have to enable this one, like a 139 for your file and printer service, or a 135 for your service control manager, or HTTP you can enable with the help of NSG rule called 8080, and Windows management service is been by default it's been allowed with. Hello, hello. Sorry, I think my headset is got disconnected. So, Prabal, answering to your question, by default, port 43 has been enabled. Now, additional port, if you want to enable it, generally it's been enabled with the help of a service called NSG. That's called Network Security Group, where you need to enable your inbound rule, inbound or a incoming rule. You can able to use it. Now, what will happen after 3 days training, September 5 to 7? Uh, Next training, you can wait for this one week, like uh, Muhammad Afim. So similar kind of events will be announced. So you can attend the similar kind of events also. If you're comfortable, you need to go back and refer this AZ900 modules on the Microsoft Portal. And once you're comfortable and once you've done all your self-study, you can write the exam. If you're attended all the 3 days training, you will be getting a certificate also from us. Now, okay, Joseph will be giving you all the instruction for that, how to get it's been already you registered for the event, right? So you'll be getting that. uh, Discord record link, possible end of the session, attendance record link, and the previous video link, we will be posting on that chat window. So almost a 1.5 hours now. So let's take a 5 minutes of break and come back, and we'll move to the next module, how to create a VM, and we'll discuss about a couple of core resources also. Yeah, Binaru, we are planning to share the presentation possible end of today. All the presentations also to be uploaded on the Discord link. PPT also we are sharing. So thank you, team. Let's take a short 5 minutes break and come back, and then we'll move to the next. Let's let's take 5 minutes break. I hope all are back. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so we got a couple of questions here. Nurlaila has been asking like, I'm getting a free message here. I'm not eligible for that. Maybe your ID or your credit card may be linked with your free account. Maybe already you created a free account in the past. That's the reason you get in that message. So what you can do right now, it's been like create another email ID or a live ID. Try with a different card. Maybe the email ID right now you tried maybe associated with a free account, or maybe you created in the past. Maybe that's the reason you're getting this one. Generally, in case if you used any of this card or ID for a past free account situation, generally you'll get this kind of message. So try with a different account. Now, other that, what time it will be resumed? It was a 5 minutes break and it's been done starting now. Some of the login portal users, is asking about the security options on the Microsoft side. Yes, there are different options we are using. Whatever mode right now you mentioned on the chat, right? So this has been coming under the security option. You maybe heard about uh, MFA option, one of the security option, the Microsoft, right? It's called multi-factor authentication. Similar way, the USB stick, it's been coming generally in a category called FIDO. There is a fast identity online. That is the uh, security feature. It's been supported on the Microsoft side. So that USB stick or a drive, whatever you mentioned, that has been coming under the high security category. That feature generally known as Fido security keys. That keys will be on the USB drive if you want to authenticate, generally using that. So that's called, I'm just pasting that details on the chat. It's called Fido. So this is called Fido security key. There are different methods generally we are using for providing a host level, or it's in a security side, or especially on the Active Directory or the directory one. Maybe you may be knowing about a app called Windows Hello app for business, and we are using a multi-factor authentications or a biometric or a pin kind of options we are using. So the question you asked, this has been coming under a category called Fido. That's called fast integrity options. That is a latest or a more modern type of security options has been supported on the Microsoft side. It's a because you may be seeing like a lot of articles or a blog about the Microsoft passwordless initiative. Like we don't need to remember a lot of a complex password. We can go for any of these Azure multi-factor authentication or a compatible Fido security keys or a web authentication or a Hello app kind of option can be used in this one. That's called Fido one. Let's go to the other question. Some of the login. Now, if you want the person who asked this question, let me see, is there any document has been available, readily available with me? Yeah, I think I can able to see. This is the one document I can able to give you for this. You can refer this one. It's called Fido one. The USB key, you can able to use this one. I have two document readily. It's been available in my diary. So you can use this one. Refer this to document. This is basically coming under AZ900 course. And basically this has been coming under AZ900 training certification also. Is there any security hardening and troubleshooting course? Prabal, security hardening and troubleshooting generally coming under AZ500 and AZ720 exam. All the security hardening, you may be heard about a device called PO1, right? Privilege access device, right? You may be heard about device called PO. It's called PO is the generally using an option in the, it's called privilege access workstation. You may be heard about that. So this is basically security hardened devices generally we are using on Azure side. All this topic is being generally covered under sessions called AZ500. We have one program is coming in next month. Key followers. So we have a one program is coming. That time we are planning to cover security hardening, how host level security is being provided. So it's been covered. And troubleshooting, a couple of troubleshooting methods it's been covered under AZ10 course. And if specifically if you're looking for troubleshooting on a network aspects, recently Microsoft is released a course called AZ720. You may be read maybe in the Microsoft Learning Portal. In case if you're not available or if you're not read, there is a program Microsoft is uh, announced only for troubleshooting Azure connectivity kind of topic. That's called AZ720. Right now, this is a beta version of the exam is been available. So you can attend AZ720. We are planning this training in the November, December month. Before that, we have a 700 batch also. It's been coming. So 720 has been basically it's a beta version right now. It's been available. We are waiting that training or the course to be finalized, and after that, we'll be moving for that training course. Now, any other question has been, I'll try with a different ID and card. Okay, good. Now, any other question has been left? Attendance link already posted. Now, Azure Pass. So thank you for that. So like, please share me the code for Azure Pass. Right now, uh, we are not in a position to provide a pass vouchers to all the members here. We have almost a 200 plus members here. We are happy to provide, but at the moment we are not in a situation to provide pass vouchers to all the members. Future we may try for that. Right now, only option available in front of us is been a free account. Future we may come with this kind of options also, like a pass vouchers, or it's been unlimited access to the learning modules. So we may come with this kind of solution. At the moment, we are not in a position to provide a free voucher for doing your lab. Certificate will be providing that detailed instruction. Surag will be giving you the end of the module. So stay tuned. Possible the end of the session, what is the next action to be taken? We'll give you a detailed instruction for that. Please share the PPT. Yes, we are doing that. So by end of the day, all the 3 days PPT you'll be getting on your portal. Okay. Now, any other question has been? When is starting the AZ700? Necessarily, we are working on the calendar. We are planning to possible do in the next month, the first week, because this month we already packed. So possible in the next month, the first itself, we'll try to do that. Okay, so we'll be getting an announcement. So in case if you're not subscribed our channel Discord link, right away go and do it. So we'll be getting this one. Vignesh is asking like AZ104. Already we done one program in the last week. Possible next month another repeated batch may be coming. We already done one 700 program. Then we have done on AZ900 and a couple of SCP programs we have done. DP programs we have done. So next it's been coming very soon. Now AZ800 is coming third week of this month. Okay. Will there be a training for a system admin? Yes, there is a one program that has been coming this month. That's called AZ800 program. This is basically for a system admin. There is a one program has been coming. So request you to attend that and share that training event to all your friends also, who has been working on the same similar field or a similar job role. Request you to share the link once it's been done. Yes, said 800 the tentative date. Uh, we are I know not yet announced. Most probably on 19th that week. Maybe it's been coming. We are yet to announce. Okay. Where can I get the schedule of the course? Which course you are looking, Vip? I think the day one I given all the links also. In case if you are missed that, let me know which course you are specifically. Yes, AZ800. You can just go to Google and just type AZ800. You will be getting a. AZ800 is not a 3 days program. That's going to be a 5 to 6 days program. It's been 5 days, 5 to 6 days program. Okay, now I think we are good with all almost all question has been answered. Let's move to the Azure Core Service. Give me a second for uploading this presentation. Okay, I'm just giving a mute for 1 minute. So it's been showing some loading message. What is that? It's been is an error or okay. Now till now we have discussed about connection part. We have seen like how to connect to Microsoft Azure also. Now in the next portion of the session, we're trying to understand about what are the different core services been available and how this can be configured on the Microsoft side. So we'll try to create a VM. We'll try to create some VNet also. Now in the day one, we understood Microsoft is supporting almost 100 plus services on the Microsoft portal. So based on the category, how it's been working, it's been like compute or a networking or based on the storage or all these things, the product has been arranged. So that's called Azure products. We have a 100 plus product has been available. So based on that, based on the customer requirement or based on the user requirement, we can able to download this one. So we have a Azure product has been available for them. Now, the first term you need to understand on the Microsoft Azure that is known as resource. It's called resource. Resource is something like right now we have learned. It's been like you have. I'm taking you to the whiteboard. Let me open the whiteboard. Give me a second. It's taking time for loading. The session is not finished. We are moving to the whiteboard. And it's been loading, so just so right now we understood the use of a free account. We understood how the subscription is been configured. We understood like there is a Active Directory 10 and also it's been created for you. So three terminology we have learned. We learned what is the use of an account. We learned about the subscription. We learned about there is a tenant also it's been created. Now, right now we are going to discuss about two term called resource, resource. Okay, resource and resource. Now, if you consider your schools or your college or office, uh, in your, I'm just taking an office, you have a n number of employees is been working, right? You may be having working people in the IT department, HR department, or a finance department, or it's been a cleaning staff, or it's been a catering resource, right? All generally it's been considered as a symbol category called employees. From an organization point of view, all people who is working for that organization is been considered as a employees. You are agreeing with this point? Uh, Robin may be part of IT department. Surag may be part of HR, then Lorendo is maybe part of finance department. But for an organization point of view, all these people are employees of that organization, right? Now, similar way, when you connect to Microsoft Azure, we have 100 plus services been available, right? You have a you may be using for creating a computer that generally known as a virtual machines, right? So you'll be using for connecting, creating a virtual machine. You may be creating a networking components called VNet. You may be creating something called storage account. You may be utilizing a feature called Firewall or Firewall Manager, or you may be using a databases. All these components generally known as resource. What do you mean resource? In a simple term, any manageable services which is available on Azure, generally known as a resource. What do you mean? Way I'm calling it a manageable one? Because if I'm selecting a VM, I can make some kind of a modification. If I'm taking a firewall, I can make it do some kind of a configuration. So generally, any manageable resource on a Microsoft Azure, generally known as a resource. Any question here? I'm just pausing here in case if you are any question related to this one. Let's have a discussion. If you're good, can you just comment it on the chat because it's maybe a bit confusing one. If you're comfortable with this, you can just put at least one dot, or if you're clear, just put one comment. So just to ensure that we all are on the same page. Lim, thank you, Lim. Lim has been answered. He is cleared about resource part. Okay, good. Okay, good. And you can call me instead of calling sir. I think you can call me Robin. Okay, because this is not kind of professor kind of this one. I'm a part of your team and we are doing a technical discussion. So you can call me Robin. Okay, so we all are working on the same team and we are trying to understand the technology. So it's kind of a technical discussion. So you can call me Robin. Okay. I I would love to go for that instead of sir and this one, boss, all these things. We can avoid this one. Consider me as part of your team. Okay. So now we understood the term called resource. Now I'm just giving a scenario like let's go back to college days. In a college, we have 100 students is being joined. In a college, I'm just giving a college, or in an office, we have 100 employees is being joined. Now, from a HR point of view, you may be seeing like all these employees may be tagged to different department, right? Few people like Robin may be tagged under HR, Lim may be tagged under finance. Then we have Kishan is being joined under market. Can you tell me what is the reason we are using this kind of a department in an organization or in a college. You may be seeing like a botany, chemistry, physics, IT department, computer department. What is the primary reason for this one? What do you think? It's like in your office where we need, instead of putting all the 100 people on the same uh, floor, we are dividing, or we are making like a different kind of a group, not to have so functional or a roles. Okay, Ricky. Okay. Any other reason you're thinking? Load balancing for a specific. Okay, good. I'm just waiting for others view, and also members, can you just comment your views on like okay, easy to manage. Okay, thank you, GH. So waiting rest of them. So basically, if you're seeing, as GH said, is basically for easy administration purpose, right? It can be workload balance or identifying easy or some set of policy if you want to apply. It's been easy for doing if you're making this kind of a category, right? Now, I'm saying like, I want to push some kind of a policy to a particular group saying that, hey, IT department, tomorrow it's been holiday for you. Or I need to put some kind of a policy to some kind of a department. It's easy for me to categorize the people like this, right? It's can be easy for an organize. Now, if you're seeing here, I'm just going back to our portal. You can observe two activities here. Uh, Before that, let me delete all components which we created in the past. So it's be easy for you to um, identify. Let me delete this one. Okay. So you need to give me a few minutes because I'm trying to take you into a concept called resource group. So that's the reason I'm just deleting this one. So it will be able to understand what is the difference between this. Okay. Give me a second. So this will take a few minutes for deleting this one. Otherwise, you may get confused. So I don't want that. That's the reason. Let me delete this one. Okay. So you need to give me 2 to 3 minutes time. Otherwise, you will get confused. So I'm just giving a scenario. Meanwhile, this deletion is starting. Now, last weekend, so all of us went to supermarket, right, in your home, and you purchase a lot of grocery items, right? You purchase rice, you purchase wheat powder, you purchased noodles, you purchase turmeric powder, red chili powder, right? After reaching your home, what you have done? You unpacked everything item, and in your home you put in a different containers, right? Or have you put all these items on a same container or a different container in your kitchen? Because last week I went to supermarket and bought some groceries for my home. So my mom, it's been like after reaching here, my mom, what they have done, she's done, it's like she took all these rice and all these things, unpacked, and different boxes she is filled. What is the purpose of that? As you said, it's been organizing, right? It's been easy for to manage in the kitchen also, right? Instead of putting all on the same container, in your home, maybe you or your yeah, for a proper documentation or for proper management. In your kitchen also, you may be using a different containers or a box for a groceries, right? Similar way here also, we also using a separate containers that is known as resource group. What is the term here? You are making a different container here also, that is called resource group. Okay, let's try to understand what is a resource group. Let me show you in a demo way. Okay, wait, because right now we are deleting a couple of resource which will be created in the past. So we need to wait 2 to 3 minutes. Otherwise you will be get confused. So I don't want that. So let's wait 1 or 2 minutes. Deletion is in progress. So we need to wait. Right now you can able to, there are some resources already available here. So we need to wait. Right now the deletion is in progress, so it will take a minute. So we need to wait. So right now it's been deleting a resource group. So I have one advice for you. It's been like, uh, especially you're using a free account, and when you're using a subscription or account on your office, in case if you're not using any resource, make sure that you're deleting this one, because otherwise there will be extra charge will be there for each resource that may lead to a lot of cost management issues. So in case if you are not delete if you're not using any resource or a resource group, any of the service on the Microsoft Azure portal, make sure that always it's been clearing or it's been deleting. Don't think that Microsoft is not charging, or don't think of shutting down a VM and you don't think that Microsoft is not charging for that. No, in case if you're not deleting anything, if you're not using any resource on the Microsoft Azure portal, better delete that one. Otherwise there will be amount will be deducted from your account. So make sure that in case if you're not using any particular service, always delete it. So there's one advice for you. Right now only 3 resources been left for deleting, so it's been the deletion already we initiated. Once it's been done, we'll go for the resource group part. So it's taking time. I think it's been done now. Okay, now right now there is no resources been available on the portal. Now we understood what is a resource. Now we are trying to understand about another topic called resource group. Now I'm trying to create a VM. Okay, now before that, let's go back to whiteboard once again. Now we are in a customer place or in an organization. We are trying to create a VM. Okay. Now I'm selecting a VM. You need to tell me end of the creation, what are the file or what are the additional resources been created. Now I have a requirement. I need to create a VM with a name VM1 with the operating system 2019. Windows Server 2019 is the operating system. 2019 is the operating system I need to create. Okay, so this is the lab right now we are going to do. We'll see what are the components is been created along with that. Okay, now I'm just going back to the portal. Now I'm trying to create a resource. And so the first point you maybe notice here, whenever we are trying to for creating any resource, right now we are trying to create a resource called virtual machine. You maybe notice there is a option you are getting here with a star red mark saying that, hey Robin, it's mandatory that you need to mention subscription. So wherever you are seeing this red symbol, it's mandatory option, because it's mandatory that you need to provide that information. Right now you may be seeing that it's asking Robin, tell me which subscription you want to use for billing. In your office you may be multiple subscription may be aligned for your account. Right now I'm using my friend ID, so he's using a Visual Studio one. So he's saying that, Robin, when you are creating a virtual machine, Microsoft is asking from where I need to do a billing, on which account or which subscription I need to do a billing. In case if you have multiple billing option, I can have option to select it here. Clear? Right now I'm saying like a this one. Now resource group, this is the term right now we are trying to understand. Right now nothing has been available here. So I'm just selecting one. It's called cloud training. We'll see what is this what is the use of a cloud training. We'll show you with a demo. Okay, right now you don't need to worry about that. I'm given mandatory name. It's called VM1. Now it's mandatory that we need to provide data center detail also. It's asking, Robin, tell me which data center I need to configure this virtual machine. Is it on a West US or it's been on a Central US or a Japan? I'll be getting all the data center details here. So you need to remember, when we are going for creating any resource, is not virtual machine alone. When you go for creating a VNet or a load balancer or a storage account or a monitoring service, subscription, resource group, and region, These three informations are mandatory component, mandatory information to be filled. Clear? Any question? Okay. Now, right now we are creating a VM and we are trying to understand a concept called resource group. Okay. Let me create a Windows Server 2019. I just given review and a create. How significant is a region? Why it is a mandatory? Ricky is asking a question. There are three reasons for that. Ricky, the first question is been like a region is been always selected based on the user presence, where your user is been residing. Based on that nearest location or a data center, you can select. So there's a one significant reason for that. For example, like if you have all users from India, so always you maybe heard about a latency kind of a concept in a operation role, right? So if all the users are from India, there is no point of keeping your server in a US or a Canada or Qatar or any other region. So we need to ensure that the region is been placed or the data center or the resource has been placed near to your user where the large number of user is been connected near to that geography. Generally, we are connecting. Second significant point we need to consider, each region or each data center having a different price tag is been available because depends upon the resource availability for the Microsoft, the cost or it's been available for that country. There are different price tag is been available. So cost also it's been a important option for selecting this one. So you need to have a cost also it's an important factor for this one. Now, is there any place to select memory and a disk space? I'm coming to that point, GH. Right now, after the resource group, when we are having a discussion on the VM creation, I'll spend some time for a discussion about creating a memory or a disk space, how to do a resize, or what are the point we need to consider when you are making any kind of a disk reconfigurations. GH, I'll consider this point in the next portion of the session. Right now, I'm focusing on creating a resource group. Right now, the deployment is been completed. If you go back to this virtual machine tab in the left side on the resource panel, you can able to see there is a VM is been created with Windows, and right now you can able to see this has been created inside a container called resource group. Right now, if you go to all resource, you maybe notice when we are creating this VM, we have provided only one information, right? Robin was mentioning like I need a VM with a name VM1 with Windows Server 20 or 19. Rest you can able to see a lot of other dependent resource also it's been created here, right? You may be able to see here there is a public IP address has been created. There is a network security group is been created. There is a network interface card is been created. There is an additional disk also it's been created. You're agreeing with this point? Right now, along with your VM, for providing the service to VM, lot of other dependent resources also it's been created automatically. Because if I need to use a VM, obviously you need a disk, right? Because in that disk only you're saving your operating system. So disk is been created. Now I created a VM. If I need to make a connectivity to internal or external, obviously you need a network interface card, right? Otherwise, what is the point of configuring a VM? Either it's on premises or in your laptop or in Azure. Obviously, you need a network connection, right? Network interface card. So there is a network interface card also it's been created here. Here it's not created a physical network card. Instead of that, it's been created a virtual interface card. That's generally known as VNIC, virtual network interface card. I just given it on the typed on the chat window. That's called virtual network interface card. Now, For making a rule or making an inbound or outbound kind of a traffic management, there is a internal firewall also it's been configured that generally known as a NSG. That's called Network Security Group. Like when what are the type of the traffic to be uh, created, it's been what are the traffic to be needs to be come to inside your Azure, or it's been on the what are the traffic to be uh, allowed from your Azure network infrastructure to outside, that been decided with the help of a concept called NSG. That's called NSG. Basically, there are two type of a firewall or a traffic management resource we are using. One is called NSG, and you can able to see another service called Micro Azure Firewall. Also, firewall generally configured in the perimeter of your Azure network, and NSG generally configured in a subnet or in a VNet in the VNIC level. So generally, it's been configured in the VNIC or a subnet level. It's been configured. That for your information. I just typed down the chat window. So in case if you want to copy paste, you can do that. So NSG, it's been a VNIC level or a subnet level. You can able to configure this one. Now, right now, let me go back to our whiteboard. Right now, you observed the moment when you created a VM1. Basically, there is a two disk is been created automatically. One disk is been created for OS disk. In a normally the size of the OS disk for a Windows, it will be 127 GB. If it is a Unix flavor, it's been generally it will be 30 GB. So 30 GB are this one, and there you will have a one temporary disk also to be created. Generally, normally the size will be 15 GB, and if it is Linux, it may be around 40 GB. Generally, this temp file is been using for saving page file, or it's been using for saving a SAP file in a Linux environment. And the advice I have for you, don't save any information or any customer critical data on the temp drive. So when you created a VM, by default, there is a two drive is been created by default. What do you mean drive? You maybe heard about like a C drive or a D drive, right? Right now, if you're taking a laptop, you have a C and a D drive is available, right? So C drive has been created for your OS disk, and D drive has been created as a temporary disk. So I'm saying don't save any customer data or any important or a confidential data on a C drive or a D drive. The reason is whenever you are rebooting your VM, always this will be started from a clean state. So any data which has been saved in a temporary disk, that will be got cleared. Now, what is the reason why I'm saying like don't save any data in the OS disk? Because in case if there is any operating system correction is happening, there is a chance of losing your data. So always when we are creating a VM, I prefer you to create another data disk for saving the customer data. So you have a number of data disks can be created. So right now we are discussing about a topic called resource group. Right now we have seen along with your VM, there is some additional disk or additional dependent services also created. We have seen like there is a disk is been created. There is a network interface card is been created. There is a NSG also it's been created, and you have a network watcher also is created. Now additional dependent resource is being created. Now, if you go back to this portal, you may be noticed all these components which is been connected to VM is been organized inside a resource group in a container called resource group. Clear? You can able to see here. Now let me create another VM. Okay. Now you can able to see the difference. I'm creating another VM called Visual. I'm just creating another one. It's called Finance. Called Server One. Okay, let's now few minutes before I think GH was asking about where you select memory and configuration. GS, this is the place you can able to select memory and other configuration. You can go to click on the option called see all size, where you can able to select all your VM and additional configurations. We'll have a detailed discussion. I think I can see there's a Amriti has been raising the hand. Amriti, if you can able to post your question in the chat, that will be well and good. So apparently I can able to create this VM also. Amriti, you can post your questions on the chat window. Right now I'm creating the second VM. Validation has been completed. Let's create. The deployment has been started. So right now the deployment has been completed. Can show back the whiteboard regarding the resource group. I'm coming to that point. Okay. Yes, we can customize the RAM and the storage size for the VM. Yes, board, we can do it. Right now, if you go back to this old resource, you can able to see. Can you just observe this resource group part here? You're seeing any difference between these two? Just look into the third column. So can you comment what you're observing on this chat window? Not the chat window, the screen. Can you comment it on the chat? You may be seeing like there is a two resource group is been created, right? Yes, you are able to see three category. Network watcher you can able to remove. Rest two you can able to see. You may be able to see it's in a category or it's been based on it's been in a container base it's been arranged, right? Instead of scattering the resource in your Azure, it's been organized in a different content. So any resource is been connected with a VM one, it's been mapped under the cloud training one. And if anything has been connected to server one, this has been connected to the finance container. Now, it's been easy for us to do a proper administration, similar like how the organization has been managing a resource. Like in case if I need to put some kind of a policy on the resource group level, instead of going and setting a policy in an individual resource level, I can able to link the policy directly on the resource level. Now, if I need to delete or I need to decommission this one, I don't need to go and delete individually wise here. Instead of that, I can just select one group. I can delete directly here. I just need to select automatically all the resources been assigned to that is been deleted. I have option for applying this one, right? I can all resources been assigned or it's been part of that resource group which been deleted. So it's been easy for me to do a kind of administration. Now I'm getting another question. What is the use of a network watcher? This is basically a monitoring tool. It's basically like if you want to do any kind of a network monitoring on the Microsoft side, that's generally done with the help of a agent called network watcher. So that's been coming with a lot of tools also on the Microsoft side. It's basically for monitoring or you want to check the health of your network solution that's been generally done with the help of a network watcher tool in the Microsoft one. So it's been a free tool, and basically that will allow to do a monitoring of your virtual machines or endpoints or a network. That will do a lot of network diagnostics part, like a bound packet capturing, or it's been like if you want to monitor a couple of network connectivity or a monitoring, that generally done with the help of a network watcher. By default, each region will have one network watcher agent will be running. Now, that is the use of a network watch, and that the use of a resource group. So typically is using for management of your resources on the Microsoft side. So you may be seeing like when you're creating a resource, it's been management generally done with the help of a resource group. Now, the next option, it's been like you may be observed when you are creating a Microsoft portal. Now, when you're coming on Microsoft data center, so we understood like Microsoft is having a data center across the globe. So Microsoft is having 1 second, the number, latest number. Right now, Microsoft is having 54 countries. They're having um, 1 second, latest number. Let me take it. Microsoft region, Azure regions count latest. Microsoft is having 60 plus regions. They're having a connectivity, and 140 countries they have a latest presence. That's the latest information we have. We're just trying to pull the latest count. 60 plus countries they have presence. So in case if you want to uh, understand which region it's been available, you can able to go to Microsoft portal and just type Microsoft regions. You can able to see which region is been near to your location. So yesterday we have seen this one. Now if you go to the bottom one, you can able to see the geography. And if you want to select product by region, because all the regions are not supported all the features. So if you want to see that, you can able to see the region wise, or if you want to um, explore infrastructure by the region, you can click on here. So like you can able to see the product by region, you can select it. You can able to see here like all the product, select all, and okay, select all product. You can able to see each region, you can able to see, and you can able to see like which region, what is the product it's been supported. This kind of regions you will get. So whenever you're creating any resource, it's mandatory that if you're working as an architect or a planner or a designer, always ensure that you are referring this Microsoft region document. So end of this training or end of this event, you need to understand Microsoft is having a presence almost 60 plus regions and 140 plus countries they have a presence. You may be read like last uh, 2 to 3 weeks, Microsoft is announced their latest data center in Qatar. You may be heard about in a newspaper, read in the newspaper. Microsoft is focusing the Qatar region, so they are starting one data center in Middle East also. So similar way, you can able to see Microsoft is having data centers across the 140 plus countries. So that doesn't mean that all the product it's been available in all the region. No. So you need to refer this Microsoft document, because based on the availability of a resource, based on the uh, data center capacity, Microsoft is maybe distributed all these services to different locations. So always you need to refer this document, because otherwise like you submitted a plan to your business saying that we need to have a 1 VM with a so and so configuration on a Canada region. But when you are trying to implement this one, and if this configuration is not available you may be in a trouble situation. So always refer the Microsoft region document. So Microsoft is having a presence in 140 plus countries, and each region it's been supported by the based on the product. So you need to refer this document. Now there are some region Microsoft is not allowing us to or the public to access, especially on the US government region that is known as a kind of a red box kind of a countries. Right now, if you are seeing here, there is some country it's called a sovereign region. So there is a red box kind of a country where we don't have access to that. Like you maybe notice like a Azure government, like a there is a dedicated data center is been designed for US government, their military and the government solutions. There is a separate data center has been available and located in different place of the US. So we don't have access to that. So that's a kind of a red box country. So we don't have any access to that. And in China also, Microsoft has been associated with a third party vendor and they're operating there, because if you want to access the China servers or a data center, there are different procedure to be followed. So these are 2 points you need to remember. Now, when you're using a free account, you may be not knowing or you may be not getting a option for accessing all this data center, because free account is being limited to few countries. So all country you will not have access to configure all the resources. So that you need to check that, because Microsoft is allowing the free account to access only for few data centers only, because the rest of the data center has been focusing on the production part. So it's been so we have a option is been available. So there is a point you need to remember. Now subscription by default it's been 30 days only, it's been available. In case if you want to move or if you want to go for a upgrade version, you have to go for upgrading your account. So this upgradation can be done using a subscription tab. So there you can able to select or you can go for a additional options based on your subscription option. You can able to go for that. Now when you're going for a core services, when you have seen this all services, Microsoft is been arranged in a category mode. So you can able to see there is a compute services been available. You have a network service is been available. You have a security management tools or a service is available, like a vault kind of or a multi-factor authentication kind of service. And one side you have a developer tools also available. So this is the way the core service is been aligned. Now, covering all the 100 plus service in a short period of time, it's been difficult for us. So we are just trying to share you some information or a spark about this Azure courses. So these are the 100 plus services been available on the Microsoft portal. So based on your job role, you can pick the service and you can start attending the training program. Now, Azure Compute, if you're seeing, it's basically you have a virtual machines or a virtual machine scale set or a batch or a cloud service or a fabric or a container kind of service has been available. So basically it's been all the compute or it's been handled in the compute category, like a virtual machine or a scale set or a Kubernetes or a batch or a functions or a container. All this has been categorized or it's been coming under the compute category. Now, when you go for a storage part, or your blob or a Azure file or Azure queue or a table is been coming under category of a storage, or the storage related services been aligned under Azure storage one. And networking, if you're going, or the VPN or the VNet or a firewall or security is been considered under the uh, category of network one. So this is the way Microsoft has been arranged or it's been aligned all the service. So when you're getting a time, once you created the account, you can go and verify or evaluate all these kind of services on the Microsoft portal. So that's about the core services. Now, so this is the first question for you for not the first, this is the third assessment for you for today. Now these are, or you can answer it. Let's take it as a B, C, D. So this is the answer. You can post it. This is the another set of question for you. So this question is being related to the free account part. Now it's asking like, what is the validity for this $200? So answer for this question is answer B. Answer B is the question for you. Now Rahman is asking like, is there any payment that you need to do for a Office 365? Yes, you need to go for a subscription model for 365 also. There is a different plan you can able to see. Rahman, if you want, you can refer this link. That you can able to get all the plan for the O365 products. So this is the plan available for you. So answer for this question has been 30 days. 30 days is the validity for that. So thank you team. So almost everyone has been answered the right answer. So thank you team for that. Now let's move to the next question. Okay. You can comment the answer on the chat window. So read the question carefully. What is the container used for arranging the resources on the Microsoft portal? How this resource is been organized inside Azure. So we have seen with the demo also. So answer for this question is been answer C. It's a resource group because all the resources been generally it's been configured and category of resource group. So answer for this question is resource group. Now let's move to the third question. So thank you team. You answered almost everyone is answered right answer. Let's move to the third question. So answer for this question is answer for this question is answer C. When we are going for creating any free account, It's mandatory that you need to provide a credit card and you need to have a Microsoft ID or a GitHub ID and a phone number. So thank you, team. Everyone is posted the right answer. So answer C is the right answer for this question. So let's close that. This we are not covered. So possible in the next after break we'll cover that part. Now this also we can just leave it. These two questions we can leave it. Okay. Now this one question you can able to try. You can try for answering this one. Yeah. Now Prabal is asking like, is it possible to share two groups on? And no, it's not possible. You can have only one resource group. You cannot link Prabal one resource on the two resource group. It's not possible. It's not possible. It's something like one person cannot work in two companies at the same time, right? Same way. We cannot have two resources. So one resource on the two resource group. It's not possible. So answer for this question, it's saying that there are 54 region, but when I create account, I can only 3. What is the reason behind that? Because the answer for this question is answer A, because Azure government and Germany now issue has been solved. In a previously, the account is not allowed to access with your account. So answer for this question is A. It's not C. You can only access the Azure region, the same country or geography as you know. Because when you create one, I have connector from India, I can see Switzerland and Canada and all the US region. It is not near to me or not near to my geography. So the only issue I have seen, it's been like there are some countries or there are some region, there are some restrictions we have because Azure government, that's a Microsoft government data center where we don't have access. There you need a separate account for that. And China and Germany also had some kind of legal issues we had in the past. So that details was not listing in the Microsoft portal. Okay. Now that's all for the portal management. Now we'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll discuss about VM creations on a Microsoft Azure portal. Let's take 5 minutes break and come back. I hope we are back. I request you to confirm through the chat window. If you're back, I request you to confirm through the chat window. Lim has been confirmed. So thank you. Thank you, Lim. Next topic we are trying to. I never left. Okay. Hey, Charlie, I think we are missing you. So I not seen any comment or it's been a chat uh, today from your side. I thought you not joined today. So thank you, Charlie, for joining. Now let's go back to the VM management. Last couple of hours we were discussing about the connecting on Microsoft resources. Now let's start with one of the commonly used service on the Microsoft side. That's called VM. You maybe heard about this is a most commonly used infrastructure or most commonly resource on the Microsoft side. Now let's try to understand how the VM is being created, how the virtual machine can be managed from your side also. Once you're created, you need to know how to manage or how to connect it on the Microsoft side also. Now, in a most of the situation, I hope you can see my screen. Also, the whiteboard is been shared. Most commonly used resource on the Microsoft side, it's called virtual machine. So typically in a normally on-prem or in a hybrid or in a co-location one, we used to install the operating system on the uh, top of the physical hardware directly using a KVM switch or using a monitor we used to manage. Now we are trying to understand how this computer is been managed on a Azure side. In a previously, all of us know we are taking a box that's called a physical box. It can be HP or a Dell or a Cisco UCS. On top of the hardware, you're installing an operating system using a monitor, you're connecting the cable and you're managing. Now, when it is coming on an Azure side, how this management is being done, or what are the point you need to remember when you're trying to create a virtual machines? Because when you're going for any kind of a resource creation, you should know what are the points or what are the uh, uh, checklists to be followed, because when you're going for a creation of any of these points, you need to have a properly available details, because you cannot go and create a resource as it is, right? So you need to have a properly defined uh, checklist to be available. I'm just giving a scenario like you're working for a medical research company and your boss told like already we have some set of a web servers or a SQL servers or a database servers are available. You need to migrate into Microsoft Azure. The reason it's been like the existing hardware is getting aging and I'm not able to use latest data analysis softwares like a big data or a artificial intelligence kind of things. So organization is decided like they need to migrate one. And I have another scenario. It's been like right now I have a lot of servers is been scattered around the globe, and I don't have a staff or a technical resources been available in each location. So my organization is decided I need to go for some kind of a centralized management of all this VM. So these are the commonly two scenario you're going to see in the customer places. Now, how this has been managed? Basically, like if you want to use or if you want to get some complete control on over your virtual machine, that generally handled with the help of a concept called VM. So the virtual machine which you are creating on in a Microsoft Azure, generally known as a or represented with a term called VM. That's called virtual machine. So for an end user, VM is means something like it's been connected directly on the end user is not knowing like whether it's been connected from a Azure VM or it's been a virtual Hyper-V or it's been configured in a physical server. For a end user, this similar like how it's been connected on a physical server. The only difference is here it's been like you are not managing the underlying physical server. This has been completely managed by the Microsoft itself. So that is the one point you need to remember here. Now, when you're going for a configuring a Azure Cloud VM, what are the benefit you are getting right now if you're using a cloud and you are configuring a VM? The first point you need to remember, you need to mention which country or which region you are configuring this one. So what is the advantage you are getting here? The advantage has been like you don't need to manage any of the physical underlying server here, and you are not purchasing any of the hardware here. You are going to pay only for how much time or the consumption of this VM. It's not that all the servers has been hosted on the Microsoft Azure. You're going and paying. No, this is only for how much time you've been used, how much time this VM you're utilized. Only for that you're paying. Now, few people may be having some kind of a concern or a perception saying that Microsoft has been supporting only the Windows OS. No, as I mentioned in the marketplace discussion, Microsoft has been supporting all the Linux or the Unix based servers also. In case if you want to go for a Red Hat or a CentOS or Ubuntu, you have a flexibility to select that operating system also. So you have an option to host that other vendor or other flavors of the operating system on the Microsoft side. Now, whenever you're going for configuring any kind of a configuration of the Microsoft side, you may be heard about a two term called lift and shift, or you may be heard about a term called rehosting. So in case if you are upgrading or you're moving a resource from a on-premises to Microsoft Azure side, generally it's been done with the help of a concept called lift and shift. So lift and shift is the technical term generally we are using. Now, in case if you're using for a configuring any VM on a Microsoft Azure or any cloud service portal, you need to have a complete checklist to be available with you. Always you need to have a properly configured or available information about your network. You should know what is the IP address to be used. You should know what is the network VNet to be configured, how many firewall is needed for your organization, and what is the subnet to be used, what are the inbound rule to be configured, or what is the outbound rule to be configured to a VM. You need to have always have a complete checklist of a network to be available. Second point, when you're configuring any of the VM on a Microsoft Azure side, you need to have a proper name or a standard nomenclature to be followed. You cannot use it's like a Robin Mission or a VM1 or a VM2 or a VM3 or this kind of name. We cannot use it on a Microsoft portal. So always you need to have some kind of naming conversion to be used. For example, like you can start with a name like a QA for the QA environment, or a development you can mention with a DEV, or if it is a production you can mention with a prod. So this kind of naming you can use, and if you can possible you can add some kind of a location details also, like you can mention like if it is a US West data center, you can mention it's like a USW, and if it is US East you can mention it's like a US East. For example, like I have a server which has been configured with the SQL or a web messaging, I may represent like this, like I dev, I'm just giving like a dev US Central. That means if you are seeing this name, you will understand, this is development server and this has been hosted in a US data center, and I'm configured a web server web, and I have configured VM1. So if you're seeing this name, it's easy for you to understand, or tomorrow if your colleague has been coming and managing this server, he will be able to understand what is the type of the application is been running on this. For example, like I'm giving another one, it's like a prod US East AD VM1. So you'll be able to understand, this has been running with the Active Directory. This has been configured with the VM1. Only one VM is available, and this has been configured in US East data center, and this has been working in production data center. Just think like if in case you instead of this, if you given like a VM1, VM2, VM3, VM4, you will be in a kind of a situation like you may have to take a RDP or a remote connection of all these servers, and you need to find out which server is running my application, right? So you'll be in a kind of in a exhausted situation. So Whenever you're going for any kind of a VM creation or a virtual machine creation on the Microsoft portal, uh, I recommend you to use some kind of a standard nomenclature or a naming structure, naming standard that will help you when you're moving on an operation role, because or your colleague or your the cloud administrator who is managing this one, he'll be able to manage this one. One second. Sorry guys, I just got some emergency call. Sorry for that. Now, the naming is one of the important point you need to remember. So networking, like you need to have a proper networking or IP address or subnetting details to be available. Now, another point you need to remember, uh, location is an important factor. So because we have seen like 140 plus countries, 160 plus countries, Microsoft is available data center, and we understood like each region is having different cost or a pricing tag is been it's been tagged. So you need to always have a proper location strategy to be followed. It's based on that where your user is been residing and the cost also to be considered. So this is the 2 point you need to remember. So deciding the location has been always important when you are going for configuring your location for your VM or any resource also. Now let's try to create a one VM here. Then we'll go for accessing this VM, how we can able to access from the Azure point of view. Now I'm going to create a VM. Let's plan a structure here. We are planning to create a VM. Customer is saying like they need a Windows Server 2090. So I would decide that operating system for this is been 2090. Now I'm planning to configure this is in a US data center, US West data center, and username is been decided. I need to know what is the username to be used, and IP address to be selected, and I know what are the incoming connection to be configured here, and this needs to be aligned. It's mandatory that 3 information to be configured here. There is a 3 information by default we need to select. One is like which subscription this billing is being configured. Second mandatory information, which resource group this has been configured. And third one is been like which region also. Right now, we have only one subscription only available, and we have already decided it is been going to create in the US data center, and resource group we are going to use it's been a cloud admin is the resource group we are going to create it. Now let's go back to the Microsoft portal. Let's try to create a VM. Already VM has been, if you want to create a VM, multiple options you can able to use it. One option it's been like you can on the top left side top, you may be seeing an option called create a resource. You can click on that, or you can point into the virtual machine. There you will be getting an option called create a VM, or you can go to the search bar where you can type virtual machine. This will be pointing the same location, and here you are getting an option called create a virtual machine. Right now we are trying to create a virtual machine. Now, as I said, there are 3 mandatory information we need to provide. Right now, I provided the subscription detail. If you have a resource group, you can point or you can place that this resource also inside that. Now, luckily we have one resource group is already created here. I'm pointing to that, and virtual machine name, I'm just giving a prod VM1. So the simple name I given, I selected it in a US data center. Now availability option, basically like if you want to configure some kind of a redundancy or a availability mechanism for your VM, in a Microsoft Azure, it's been configured with a couple of features called a VMware availability set, availability zone, or a virtual machine skill set. So
these are the option is generally available. Because if you're, I'm just giving a scenario, like in a normally, if you're taking any operation road, typically there are three kind of issues generally you face. One, it's been like there is a chance of a hardware failure, there is a chance of OS failure, or there is some situation, there is a kind of a power or a network or a unplanned maintenance also. Now, if you have a web server is been configured and all the web server is been hosted in one region or one location, suddenly there is some power outage or a network outage is happen, or there's some router is been down, your all service or all the users is going to impact on this situation. Now, for avoiding this one, in case if there is any kind of a issues happen, there are different layers of availability mechanism Microsoft is been providing. This starting from the geography and the regional pair, and from the VM level, this has been configured with the help of a two concept called availability zone and availability set. Right now, the West US data center is not supported the first option, that's called availability zone. That's the reason this option is in a gray out mode. And this basically it's a set of a availability mechanism. It's been supported on the Microsoft Azure side. So you can go for a availability set or a availability zone or a kind of a mode for providing additional layer of a security on the VM level. Right now, I'm not going for any kind of a redundancy infrastructure here. I selected my operating system. It's been Windows Server 2090. So right now I've selected the operating system. It's been like a 2090, and I selected as a 2016. I'm selected at 2016 because 2019 is not supported. And this is the place, I think someone has been asked like where you can able to set the sizing, right? So this is the place based on the customer requirement. Microsoft has been arranged different configuration for your this one. Like you have a D series or a B series or a DC series or a E series. There are different option has been selected. You can able to see it's been like a uh, D series or a B series or a different like this based on the customer requirement. Microsoft has been categorized a different size set. You can able to see like if I'm a user, my requirement is like I need some high memory kind of a configuration, then I can go and select the E series here instead of uh, selecting all the configuration on a VM based on the user configuration. This similar like how you select your mobile, right? A few people may be looking for a high capacity of a RAM. Few people may be looking for some high configuration of a storage. Few people may be looking on the CPU, right? So based on the customer selection or based on the customer requirement, they have a rights to select the right VM. So based on each VM will have a different cost is involved. So if we are selecting here, you may be able to see what is the cost is being supported for each VM. So your VM or the configuration or the VM charge is been it's been directly connected with the size of the VM also you're selecting. It's not that I'm creating a VM in a US data center with the X configuration, and the same location if you are selected another VM with a Y configuration, your price maybe it's been different also. It's been depends upon the VM you has been selected. Right now I'm select. You can see here. Right now I have been configured a VM with some D2 V3 2 CPU configuration. Right now you can able to see what is the pricing is being given around 6,000 rupees. Now let me go and change the VM configuration here. You can able to see here. I'm selected another configuration. You can able to see the pricing is being changing. You can able to see the pricing is being changed to 5,000 rupees. Now People may be getting a question here. Right now, at the time of a creation, I selected X configuration. Is there any possibility to change this configuration in the future? Yes, you can able to make a downgrade or an upgrade of your configuration in the future also. The only point you need to remember, in case if you're making a downgrade or an upgrade of any of this configuration, you need to have a downtime is been approved by your business. Because if you're making any kind of a resizing, that the technical term generally we are using called resizing. In case if you want to make any kind of a resizing, you need to go for a downtime. So you need in a downtime is been it's required. So because without downtime, you will not be able to make any kind of a configuration changes. So you need to have a downtime is needed. Generally in a operation, most of the IT companies or most of the operation role, it's been working based on the ITIL process. You maybe heard about a concept called ITIL. So in ITIL terms, you need to have a properly configured change request to be raised. It's not that Robin want to make any changes on the configuration. I can go and do as it is. No, it's not possible in a production scenario. Always you need to have a change request in place with a downtime approved by the business. That is the way of that is the right Microsoft recommended practice for making any kind of a configuration on the Azure side. It's not that I can simply go and make any kind of a configuration because the user account I'm getting on the Microsoft side is maybe having a global admin power. So that doesn't mean that I can make any kind of a configuration change on the Azure portal. That is not recommended one. So you need to always have a kind of uh, always you need to have a kind of a change or a request has been approved. Right now, for connecting this one, you need to have a username and I'm giving a username and password here. And password. In case if the username and password is not valid, you will get a error message here. Right now, you can able to see there is some characters are not allowed. Right now, the username and password is been allowed. Right now, you are able to see there is a inbound rule is been selected here. This basically for managing your incoming port. Let me take you into a whiteboard. When you're configuring Azure, by default in Azure side, this is your Azure cloud infrastructure. By default, if anyone has been trying to connect from internet or an external network or an on-premises one into your Azure infrastructure, by default, all ports or an all application is been by default, it is been blocked. The thumb rule it's been Microsoft it's been like by default, all inbound connections are blocked. So by default, it's not allowing any protocol or any port or application to be accessed from the Microsoft side. Now, in case if you want to access this one, you need to configure a inbound rule. Right now, we are trying to create a VM called VM1 with the Windows Server 2016. Right now, I'm defining a rule here inbound saying that for managing this my VM, I need an RDP connection. Few people may be referring a term called RDC. So it's called a remote protocol. It's been like you need to take a RDP connection to this VM. How this has been defined? It's been configured in a NSG rule saying that please allow me a RDP rule that's called incoming rule to my VM, VM1. What is the port number for RDP? 3389. Now, if you're in Linux, you maybe have to use a SSH or a kind of another port. Right now, I'm using Windows. So I'm saying to my Azure, I am configuring a VM here. Now, for managing a VM, you need to allow me port number 3389. That's the reason I'm selecting this one. In case if I'm not selecting, VM will create here, but you will not have any option for taking a console. Now you need to take a console also, right? When you configure a laptop or a server, you need to type your username and password. You on top of the hello, hello, yeah. Now on top of your operating system, you may have to configure some additional applications, right? Now for that, you need to manage this VM also. How this will manage? If I need to manage this one, I need to have a connectivity to this port. Now for providing this one, I'm defining here this VM has been accessed with a RDP protocol 3389. So that's the reason I'm selecting this VM is being allowed incoming connection of 3389. Now when I'm selecting here, you can able to see a couple of options are available on the top. Also you have a basic disk networking management. So each options you can able to select. Now this is asking Robin, what is the type of the disk technology you want? Typically you will have a three options will be available. It's called a premium. You will have a standard and you have a standard HTT. So these are the three options. Generally it's been available on the Microsoft portal. Now when you're going for a premium SSD, you have a option. Premium SSD, it's for my experience, it's been like premium SSD generally we are using. It's been like wherever you want a mission critical operation to be placed. Like you have a sensitive workload or critical application it's been used, you can able to go for the premium type of SSD. Uh, if you want to go for some kind of a web server or a production or a dev one, you can go for the standard SSD. And if you are using for a backup or a log, generally we are going for a HTT. So it's a backend. What is the disk technology if you want to use that you can able to select it from here. I'm going for a premium SSD. Now, if you want to go for additional data disk, because in the before break we understood by default when we are creating a VM, uh, why by default there is a two disk has been created, one for the operating system and second one it's been for the temporary disk. So we understood like it's not recommended to save any data on the OS disk or it's not recommended to save any data on the temporary disk also. So that kind of a situation, if you want to go for additional data disk, that data disk has been attached or created here. For example, like you want any additional data disk for your operating system or a Oracle, not for the operating system, for a Oracle database or any of the application, that you can able to select it here. For example, like you need for a Oracle VM for a customer data. So if you want, you can able to create additional uh, virtual disk here. That's additional BHD here. Now, in case if you already have any kind of existing disk is been available, that you can able to map it here. Like already, if you have a existing virtual disk has been available, you have a provision to attach the existing disk also here. Now, next to tab is been by default it's been networking one, because if you want to connect by default there is a VNet is been created. So I'm giving like this is for HR, or if you want you can able to give a name also for this. So already I'm giving like this is for the cloud training. So there is a by default there is a VNet also it's been created. Now in the management you have a couple of options is been available. Possibly in the next session we'll go more into the uh, management or the advanced tab options. So additional management option where if you want to configure any kind of identity or any kind of a management one, you can able to go for the advanced or a management option. So you can able to go for that. Right now we are not going for any of management or advanced option here. I'm just keeping this in default mode. I'm just giving review and create, and virtual machine is being created. Right now the validation is in progress. This will give you uh, once the validation is been clear, you will be getting a message saying that, hey Robin, all this validation has been completed. Now in case if there is any error, you will be getting some kind of error message saying that there is some X or Y configuration, there is some issue. You need to do some kind of a modification on that. Now I'm going for a, creation one. Bottom, you may be able to see there is a template is being created. So this you can able to use for modifying, or you meant to use for automation of your similar kind of a VM. Right now, if you want to create 100 VM with the same configuration, then you can go for this one. Go for a create. Right now, the deployment is in progress. So it will take some time. So right now, the deployment is been completed. Muhammad will be finishing another 10 minutes. So right now, you can able to see the VM is being connected here. Now, right now, you can able to see there is a two VM is being connected here. Now, when you are creating a VM, by default, there is a two IP address has been by default, it's been created for this. One it's called a public IP address has been by default, it's been assigned for this. And there is a internal IP also, it's been assigned for this VM from the BNet. You may be able to see here. There is a private IP address has been assigned here. That's called a 10.0.0.4. There's a internal private IP address is assigned. So this private IP address generally it will use, or if you want to communicate any of the internal resource, for example, like this VM want to communicate with another VM internally, or if you want to communicate with the Azure VM, then that kind of a situation you can able to use that internal IP. Public IP address generally we are using for communicating from an external world. So like if you want to make any kind of a external communication to be used, then public IP address can be used. So public IP address. So the public IP address can be used for that. So any of this method can be used for either for connectivity part. Now, if you want to use this, or if you want to access any of this VM, once you go to this virtual machine, on the top, you may be able to see three options. One is called RDP, and you may be able to see another option called Bastion service, and another one is called a SSH also. There is a three option you can able to see. Now, if you select this RDP option here, you can able to see there is a RDP file. It's been created. Now, if you're selecting this one, this will take you into a RDP console. Um, so it will take you into a RDP port where you need to give all your username and password. Whatever username and password we have created, we have been selected during the VM creation. Right now, during the creation, you given a username and password, right? X or Y. That username and password you need to give. So you'll be getting an RDP connection. So it's been authenticated with that username and password. Right now you can able to see we have been connected to Microsoft Portal. Right now you can able to see it's been connected to the uh, Azure desktop. So you can able to see the RDP connections we have selected. Now, if you are selected to Microsoft Azure desktop, like that means the VM which you are created, you may be noticed there is a two disk has been created, one for the C and another one for the temporary disk also. And if you want additional disk, you can go and create on the configuration change. If you want to add additional data disk, you can able to configure it. And you may be noticed like this has been configured with a IP address also. Like if you're typing this one, this got a private IP address also. Using this IP address has been assigned or it's been can be used for any kind of the internal communication also. So this is the one method of accessing. Second method, as I mentioned, there is another service has been available from the Microsoft that's called Bastion service. Because when you're using if you want to provide some kind of a security, um, few organization may be using a concept called gateway server or maybe using a concept called a gem server also. So configuring a gem server or a gateway server, uh, some situation is being burden for or a management it's being burden for the cloud administrator. So that's the reason Microsoft is been came with a solution or a PaaS solution that's called a Bastion service. So you can able to configure a Bastion service. With the help of that, you will be able to connect to the Microsoft portal. You don't need to manage the physical server where the operating system is been hosting. So all it's been managed by the Microsoft Bastion, Microsoft itself. That's called a Bastion service. Now, if you're selecting this virtual machine, if you go to this uh, property, it's been giving a complete summary about what is the public IP address it's been configured, and we understood what is the uh, uh, locations information also here. Like you can able to see there is a resource group or a running or it's been what is the current status you will be able to notice, and you are getting a couple of additional tool also here. Like if you want to monitor a couple of a monitoring feature for this one, you can able to see like the what is the CPU usage or what is the network utilize, the resource utilization. You may be able to monitor it from here. So you have option for monitoring the resources also. Now, in case someone has been asked, like it's been like in case of we need to make any kind of a resizing, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Right now, you can just go to the size option and bottom, you are able to see an option called resize tab. Right now, this option is been in a grayed out mode. The reason it's been like right now, this virtual machine is in a running situation. That's the reason we are not able to move or you are not able to resize it. So you need to ensure that this VM is in a stop situation. Then only you'll be able to make any kind of a modifications. Now, the same tool, the same window where you're getting the properties, where you can able to see IP address, is there any availability mechanism is being configured to VM, all this kind of information you will be able to monitor from here. Now, if you want to go do any kind of a monitoring for Azure, there is a separate service has been available that's called monitoring solution, where you can able to configure all level of the monitoring tool, like in activity or like alert or a metrics or a log. There are different type of monitoring solution can be configured on Azure side. So all monitoring solution is generally it's been configured with a mass software, that's mass service, that's called monitoring as a service. You have a monitoring services in place. Now, if you want to do any kind of a network management, it's been generally handled with a service called virtual networks. It's called a virtual network is the service is been available. So in case if you're configuring any of the networking solutions here, that's been generally managed with the help of a solution or it's been a service called a virtual network. Now, network security, it's been configured in a different level. You have a firewall is been one of the option is been available, so you can go and configure like in the in case if you want to configure any kind of a firewall in the perimeter level, that's generally configured with a service called a firewall, where you can able to configure multiple VNet and it's been pointed to the firewall. So with the help of a firewall, all the traffic management to in connection to your Azure infrastructure can be controlled, and you can define natting or any kind of a filtering if you want to configure. Or this is been generally done with the help of a feature called a firewall. Now, if you configured a multiple firewall in your organization, that generally it's been configured with a kind of a feature called Firewall Manager. If multiple firewall, if it is been available, and with the help of a single Firewall Manager, if you want to manage all the all the firewall which has been configured in your Azure infrastructure, that generally it's been done with the help of a Firewall Manager. That's about the management. Now, in case if you want to configure any kind of a VPN kind of options on a Microsoft Azure, typically there is a three type of VPN is been supported. The first one is known as a point to site, like the user to Microsoft Portal. If you want to connect VPN, like if you want to connect your traffic through a secured tunnel, if you want to connect, you have a P2S VPN technology has been supported, and site to site is the another VPN feature is been supported on the Microsoft Azure. And if you want a dedicated channel, you have a Microsoft Azure Express route also it's been available. So these are the few Microsoft VPN solution it's been available on the Microsoft Azure. So last 3 days, we are just trying to share you some information about how the fundamentally it's been configured on the Azure side. I hope this last 3 days session has been given some kind of a confidence to you to start AZ900, or that's given some kind of a confidence to start your cloud learnings on the Microsoft side. So with this note, we are pausing the day 3. Your learning is not stopping here. We are not stopping our training program also, but there is some for this event we have been it's been scheduled. It's a 3 days program. So we are coming with new events. So stay tuned with us. I hope the session was been useful to you. So you can post your comments in the or your feedback on the feedback form. So that will motivate us to come with a lot of similar kind of a programs in the future. So with that note, I'm signing off. Before that, as I said, there is a hackathon program also it's been happening. So I request everyone to go through that portal, or that will help you to change your career, or that will give you a better opportunity for you. Now Discord link has been shared, Suragin, on the chat window, and the feedback form also it's been shared. Now, thank you everyone. It was a wonderful batch for me, and it was a nice discussion. And thank you for your personal time for spending on this event. It was a nice discussion. I appreciate all your participation on the exercise also, because when I posted any questions, in a fraction of a second, I used to get an answer. So it was a nice batch for me also. So thank you, team. Possible we can able to uh, see you in another events. And with that note, I'm signing off for the day. So thank you, team, once again. Take care. Take care of. So thank you,
Thank
Sirag.
you. Thank you. Bye. For the certificate, you will need to be waiting till we process it. So by tomorrow, you'll be getting the certificates of participation. So just check your emails tomorrow, whichever email you use to fill out your feedback form. If you guys have any other questions, you can ask me. The slides will be posted on our Discord channel once Robin shares with me. Muhammad. Um, Once again, everyone, please make sure you join our Discord channel, like s- cloud skill challenges and new events, certification, technical events, everything is coming up. So you shouldn't miss it. So yeah, just make sure you join the Discord channel. And if you guys don't have a Discord channel, we have a Facebook group as well. So I've shared the link in the description, like in the chat box. You can check it out. Mm, yes, there will be a certificate of participation. Whoever fills the feedback form as a attendance. So you don't need to fill it twice, just once. So we'll have to send out by tomorrow. Thank you, Charlie. I hope to see you in new other events as well. Mm, the form for registration to get certificate is the same as feedback. Like we'll be taking your emails from that feedback form and we'll be sending out to that. Cool. If you guys have any other questions, I'll be happy to reply you. Are you guys like participating in virtual days? Like it's a chance to be having the certificate exam vouchers for free. So if you are doing it for like the first time, so let me share. You can just search the virtual days. So let me just share the link. That's great, Razvi. I hope you get your certificate. You can just check it out and you get the voucher for whichever the course you pick. So pick your course accordingly. Yeah, that's great. Wish you luck, Razvi. Okay, Razvi. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing wrong. I hope that settles it and see you in the upcoming events. Thank you for joining. Bye.